Okay, we're recording right now. We are going to begin with a short prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to be impacted with insight. We ask you to come and have your way. Grant us understanding, grant us wisdom. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you so much for those of us who are still here. I will share my screen shortly for us to see how they going to be as fast as we can because we are already behind, far behind time. Really far behind time. Once more, on behalf of AX Exchange, I'm welcoming each and every one of us to the training. I want to. I'm sharing my screen right away. If you can see my screen, kindly let me know. If you can see my screen, just let me know. If you can see my screen, just let me know. We are currently sharing my. I'm currently sharing my screen. If you can see my screen, just let me know. I'll try my best to be as loud as I can. It's raining down here. Thank you. You can see my screen. Good. Thank you so much. Now, we are going to start right away. Like I said, probably as fast as we can because we are already out of time. Now, those of us who already we have probably this is your first time, okay, just something very fast. If this is your probably you are a newbie in the crypto space, or you have been in the crypto space, or this is just the first time you are hearing about crypto, just let us know in the comment section below. It's very important so we know how we can actually carry everybody along. Probably this is the first time you are hearing about Bitcoin, or you want to come and learn maybe something new, or you've not really been into the space and you really want to learn something new for yourself. Just come on the comment section below and let us know. We are also go that will also help us navigate how we go about the training for today. But whether or not you are new, you are intermediate, or you are already a pro, you are actually going to learn today. Today I'm talking about a lot of things. Those of us that know my name is Shedu, and I'm part of a exchange. I'm one Bishop of doing and go boot camp. Hopefully, we are going to be having boot camp elements because AES Exchange is dedicated to promote blockchain adoption, and the only way to actually promote blockchain adoption is by blockchain education. So the more and more people we get to know how what blockchain is, how it works, why they need to get involved, the opportunity there, just like the internet in the 1990s when the internet came. A whole lot of persons were saying this rubbish, and how will in case of Alibaba, how can you sell things online and the rest of them. But the whole of those, all those things now are stories. Okay, everybody wants to be on the internet. Everybody wants to be on the internet. So today we'll begin by learning about the fundamentals of the blockchain technology in very simple terms that everybody can relate to. And today, if time permits us, we'll be looking at why should we at Bitcoin, or why blockchain. That would drive us to look at the evolution of money, what is blockchain and cryptocurrencies, the use storage and interaction of cryptocurrencies, as well as a exchange overview. And I'm just going to get started. Okay, let me see if we have any comments there. Let's see if we have any comments on the comment section. For those of us who are newbies, okay, no newbies, no comment at all. Okay, let's proceed. But if you are a newbie, you can let us know. Probably a first time or second time you are hearing about crypto. Get your questions ready. We are going to start them. Now, we can't really talk about the blockchain technology without talking about the evolution of money and how we got to where we are. Remember, we just came in the middle of time. There's a whole lot of probably a decade or so or more, or centuries ahead of us, and there are centuries behind us. And for us to really understand where we are heading to, we need to understand the evolution of money. Now, I would, many persons call this word money, and money is a big word to me, and I would prefer to use this word value exchange. Okay, so money is more or less like an exchange, a value. Okay, money is value. Okay, so when we are talking about transactions and people interacting with themselves, we are talking about an exchange of value. So we are talking about value exchange. Now, since the inception of time, we've seen humans have actually interacted with themselves, exchange value. I give you a shoe and you give me rice. In the case of barter, the barter system and the rest of them. Now, the key note we need to understand with money is that money has these characteristics. Just follow me gently. Okay, money has these characteristics. One is that it's durable. That means it can last for a long time. It's portable, which means everybody is handy. Okay, everybody can interact with it. It is divisible. In the case of, we have, just like the fiat money we have, those of you in, let's say we use let's say Naira, for example, because we're in Nigeria, for God's sake, most of us. Okay, so we have 1,000 Naira notes, we have 500, we have 200, we have 100, and so on. So it needs to be divisible, in the sense that I might want to purchase a brush. Is of course I'm not going to use 1,000 Naira, or let's say 50, or let's say I have so much money. There need to be divisibility such that I can actually divide it according to the value. Now, the emphasis on the value, okay, the value of that thing, because if the value of toothbrush is 500 Naira, that means I need just 500 Naira to actually get that toothbrush. Now, uniformity here talks about it's uniform. 1,000 Naira note in Nigeria should be in Kano, should be 1,000 Naira note in Abuja, should be 1,000 Naira note in USA, should be 1,000 Naira note in South Africa. Okay, so it needs to be uniform. The same thing with other denominations like 50, like 5, like 100, and so on, like that. Now, another thing, most importantly, is that it needs to be limited in supply. Now, we would look at that more as we proceed. It needs to be limited in supply. It needs to be scarce, and most importantly, it needs to be acceptable. Now, if we go down, talking about the evolution of money, we are going to look at the barter system. Now, in this barter system, there was no really a universal acceptable framework or a money. Okay, what was used then was just, okay, you have TV, I want shoe. Okay, so if you want TV and I want shoe, and I have your TV and you have my shoe, okay, so even if we are going to exchange, I cannot just give you one TV and collect one shoe. Okay, so that was actually the problem of the barter system. Okay, there was no basis. Okay, so as we proceed from there, we talked about, we saw cowries and metallic coin, but we'll just move straightly to metallic coin because it's so similar to the cowries. Now, in the metallic money now, the challenge it has was that it was heavy to carry about. But the emphasis here now is that it is acceptable, okay, by all. Now, anything that is a legal tender that can be used as a medium of exchange needs to be acceptable. Now, if everybody in the whole world can come to say, okay, let's use sand, for example, as a medium of exchange, you will now discover that sand is limited. You will now discover that a whole lot of persons who has money and people can actually go about, you know, pack the sand. I don't know how they can finish it, but they can actually pack the sand such that it will be scarce. I don't know if you get. Okay, so metallic coin was used as a medium of exchange because it was generally acceptable that, okay, this thing, let's use it as a medium of exchange, and also because it fulfilled other criteria of money, which is limited supply and scarcity. Okay, so if we, as we move ahead to fiat money, okay, we are going to look at the first type of fiat money, the fiat money that was issued by a bank under what we call the gold standard. Now, if you did not pick anything from today and you pick this definition, or you understand what the gold standard really means, then you've actually picked a lot. Okay, you've actually picked a lot. Now, what is the gold standard? When the metallic coins were in use, like the gold, the silver, the bronze, and all those rare gems. Now, there was a problem of, as it was appreciating in value because it was scarce. Remember, one of the reasons why it was appreciating in value was because it was scarce. As it was appreciating in value because of its scarcity, there was need for divisibility. Let's say we say that 1 ounce of gold, or let's say 1 kilogram of gold, is worth 500,000. Now, if I have 1 ounce of gold, it means I need to maybe melt it and divide it such that I can use it to buy maybe a printer, or pay my child's school fees, or do one thing or the other. Okay, so there was a problem of divisibility. Now we now have the bank. That's where the bank came in. Now, the bank were operating under the gold standard, which means that if I have, let's say, 1,000 kilograms of gold, I would just carry that 1,000 kilograms of gold and go to the bank. If I keep it in the bank serve to safeguard it, and they also serve as a regulator. So now they will give me a proof. Now they will give me a paper that proves that this man actually have 1,000 kilogram of gold in the bank. Now they now made it such that it is divisible paper. Now that paper is not money. That paper is not value, because everything can be paper. The polymer note or the paper money that we have now is just paper. It is because everybody said, okay, this is actually, let's use this as a medium of exchange. Then it's now being used as a medium of exchange. Where did the gold standard come into play? Okay, you can see now, to solve the problem of divisibility, it gives birth to the bank issuing you paper money, which serve as the proof of the gold you have in their reserve. Now, so the paper money, this paper money people had then was a function of the amount of gold they have in their bank, or they have with a particular bank. Now, this also implies that the central bank, okay, this also implies that central bank can't print paper money more than their gold reserve in order to maintain scarcity of money and keep inflation at the barest minimum until 1971. Now, what is the gold standard all about? The gold standard now is that central bank don't have the right to print money more than the amount of gold they have in their gold reserve. Now, that before 1971, I will also always say that everything was working fine in the world based on the financial transaction system. Okay, everything was almost as good as fine until 1971. Now, okay. Oh, what did I write here? Okay. Now, in 1971, one-time president of America, President Nixon, he hosted a conference and dissolved the gold standard. What it actually means is that central bank can now print as much money as they want, irrespective of the size of their gold reserve. So it means that they are printing out rubbish, or just say they are printing out something that doesn't have value and giving it value, because they have the right to print it. So it means now, just in simple terms, let's say, for example, the government wants to run a contract. If government wants to run a contract, they don't really need to do anything in order to have money that's exchanged for value. They can just go ahead to the central bank and print. Maybe they want to run a road project worth 1 trillion naira. They will just go to central bank and print 1 trillion naira note and pay the construction firm. What it implies is that no value has been exchanged, because that paper money has no value. It has no corresponding value and is entering the market. That means increasing the supply of that fiat money in that particular country. Now, the law of demand, what are the implications? It simply means that the government keeps increasing the supply of paper money far more than its actual value, making it surplus. Now, the simple law of demand and supply: the higher the supply, the smaller the quantity demanded, which gave birth to the term where we say that the fiat currency we have is called inflationary currency, while the cryptocurrency, which we are still going to discuss, is called deflationary currency, because it's scarce, and it causes it reduces inflation. Now, what is inflation? Inflation, that's why you can let's just go back. Let's go back. Let's see. Let's go back. Now, how many of us can remember the hello? How many of us can remember the price of one sachet of tomato by this time last year? If you can remember, just drop it down on the comment section. We are going somewhere. If you can actually remember the price of one sachet of tomato by this time last year, we have so many ladies here. Okay, more guys. Okay, so the ladies, somebody can you can tell us, or you can unmute yourself, and that will be much more faster, and we proceed. Has anyone giving us an answer? Okay, 16 naira. Now, how much is it now? How much is it now? How much is it now? Okay, we have 50 naira, 60 naira. I think I can go with 50. How much is it now? Okay. Let's get one or two persons giving us an answer there. How much is tomato? 100 naira. I was so shocked to my bone marrow. Though I'm not that I wasn't that surprised. I went to refill gas today, and I discovered that gas is currently 850 naira for 1 kg. So amazing. When a mentor of mine in this space made a statement and about made a statement that the price of naira to dollar might soon get to 1,000. You should not be so quick to argue that if you understand this concept very well. As at middle of last year, the federal government of Nigeria complained they weren't able to pay salaries. They don't have money to pay salaries. And central bank for that month, it should be around May or so, they printed over 30 billion naira paper. Now, they printed 30 billion naira and used it to pay salary. Are they solving a problem, or they are creating a problem? when we talk about you holding your crypto, there is a reason why. Because you might be tempted, maybe if you look at the crypto market now, is very happening. Is very happening. Reason why we are saying hold. Not necessarily to lose, because if you sell, you're putting a pressure on it sell. Now, if everybody keeps and but if you hold, to just don't go on shadow. But this beats me as a bit. We will still understand why when you are why different federal government are fighting crypto. Please kindly mute yourself. Please kindly mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, now, okay, the reason there is very simple. It has a lot to do with the gold standard. Has a lot to do with the gold standard. Now, because since 1971, you can do your research, go and check. Since 1971, you get to discover that inflation keep on. There is always inflation. Every year there is always inflation. Every year there is always inflation. You can look at what is going on in the world. The whole financial market is going down. A whole lot of things is dependent on um, inflation rates that central bank across the world to. Please kindly mute yourself. Okay, thank you. Now back to our discussion. If you are following, if you have been following for a while now, just let us know on the comment section below, probably with your favorite emoji. Maybe you have been following since we started, you have been following. Just let us know on the comment section in the group with your emoji. Okay, thank you so much. Now, back to where we are. Now, the thing President Nixon did gave federal government the right to print money as much as they can. And when you have more money, it's just like the equation I will ask that is going to illustrate that is, take for example, you have a house and you've put that house for sale for $5 million. You put that house for sale for $5 million. $5 million was a fair deal for you, is valuable. Okay. Now the federal government now decides to give everybody in the world, like everybody in your country about $3 million. Gives everybody in your country $3 million. Now the question I will ask you now: would you leave your house at $5 million? Just unmute yourself, and if you want to answer, just unmute yourself and answer. If you have a house that you've placed for sale for $5 million, and the federal government shared $2 million to everybody, like everybody now have $2 million, would you still leave your house at $5 million? If you want to answer, you can unmute yourself and give us an answer, or you can let us know on the comment section.
I think I'll definitely increase it now because now everybody has money. So I'll definitely increase it.
Okay, you are going to increase it because everybody now, the 5 million now has less value. It now has less value. I think that's just the answer to that. The 5 million now has less value. That's why you need to increase the price. Now that's exactly what is going on in the world. Now you get to see that if for example you're selling shoes, someone else is selling rice, and before now, if you sell one pair of shoe for 7,000, if you sell a pair of shoe for 7,000, you can use that 7,000 to buy a bag of rice and probably some condiments to cook the rice. And you now discover that for me to buy a bag of rice now, I need around let's say, I don't know how much bag of rice now is. That should be around Let's just assume 30,000. Now, if it's now 30,000, it means that your one pair of shoe initially was equivalent to one bag of rice and condiments. You can't tell me that you leave that one pair of shoe for 7,000, because if you leave it at 7,000, you are going to suffer. That's why we are telling people to enter crypto, because the fiat currency we have has failed because it is inflational. The more federal government prints money out of nothing, the more things will keep going up. That's why I was last year I heard a story of someone who had 20,000 naira in his bank and traveled abroad, stayed for some years and came back. When he came back, it wasn't just that he has lost the 20,000. He was owing the bank. He was owing the bank in the sense that they've so debited him for charges. Imagine they debited him for charges till they finished the 20,000, and they were still debiting him, and they were just waiting for him to come and pay. And with crypto, that's is you can't nobody can tell you that kind of rubbish. Okay. So now let's just look at Bitcoin. Let's look at why blockchain for today. Now, why crypto? One is that crypto is scarce, it is global. Now, scarcity means that it has a definite supply. It has a definite supply. Bitcoin, for example, is 21 million, and it will not increase based on 21 million. Now, the question somebody might want to ask, yes, it's scarce, but somebody created it. It was the person we have so much. Now, the blockchain, that's why a whole lot of persons who have really done their research in the crypto space come to love some very few crypto projects. Number one is Bitcoin, number two is Ethereum, number three BNB. Why? Because these people are actually following the value, they lay down principles that Bitcoin started with, in the sense that Bitcoin came out with 21 million Bitcoin supply. Now, but you can't just have that Bitcoin. You can't just have that Bitcoin. Now, for you to earn Bitcoin, you need to give out value. That's what money should be. For you to earn that Bitcoin, you need to give out value. What is that value? You need to work. And in the blockchain space, we call it proof of work. That's what miners are doing. Miners are those that generate new Bitcoin, because it is locked up. For you to earn Bitcoin, you need to mine. That's why you see all these mining apps like Pi. I don't know what's the feel of that one for now. But you see Pi, and most of you might see somebody telling you mine this coin, mine that coin. Like currently a lot of persons are mining BTCS. Okay, so you need to work. Now, what miners do is that they buy computers that are very expensive. Now, they buy computers that are very expensive. They pay for power. They pay for people who are going to stay there and be working. They pay for light, and light is actually very expensive. Okay, so they work and they earn Bitcoin. Then you now start talking about Bitcoin halving. Because when Bitcoin started, miners can earn a particular amount of Bitcoin when they work. Okay? If you solve complex computer algorithm, that's the work that you do. You earn Bitcoin. So it started on a very plain note, such that anybody can actually mine. Okay? If you have the money, you can build a Bitcoin mining farm and mine. We still have some Bitcoins to mine. Okay, so you work and you earn. But the failure of the fiat currency that we have is that a whole lot of persons are printing money out of nothing, and definitely they are causing inflation. Now we have cryptocurrency is global, in the sense that it is not limited by your country. Like Bitcoin is Bitcoin in America, is Bitcoin in Afghanistan, is Bitcoin in Nigeria, is Bitcoin in Asia, is Bitcoin in Australia. Okay, so it's global. Now it has less transaction fee. Those persons who were into money transaction in the last 10 years, even 5 years, if you want send money abroad, it takes days, and they charge you almost 20%. So imagine, as a business person doing business abroad, and for you to send money to your supplier abroad, you pay 20% of that money. Imagine. Who does that? But in cryptocurrency, you pay if you are sending 1 million Bitcoin, if you are sending $1,000, if you are sending $5, you still get charged a minimal fee of less than $1. Okay. Now, I know some persons who are in the space might want to dispute that, but we'll still get to that. Now, it is portable in the sense that everybody can handle it, and crypto is secured. We'll still go deep and look at your security of Bitcoin and the rest of them. Now, what is the blockchain? Remember that blockchain is a technology, while cryptocurrency is just one of the use cases. Cryptocurrency is just like the fiat currency that we have, but it's being powered by the blockchain technology. What's the blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is just a kind of a database. Now, it differs from the typical database in the ways that it stores information. Now, it stores information, the blockchain stores data in blocks, and then they are changed together. That's the blockchain. Now, as a new data comes in, it enters into a fresh block. Once the block is filled with data, it is changed to the previous block, which makes the data chain together in a ecological sense. Now, in a simple term, okay, in a simple term, the blockchain is related to a document used in business called a ledger. Now, what is the ledger? The ledger is a document that keeps record of financial transaction. Now, the truth there is that the instance I'll always give is that if, for example, you lend me money, let's say you lend me $5,000, and we agree that I'm going to pay you in the next 5 years. We agree that you are going to pay me, I'm going to pay you in the next 5 years.
In the next five
That
years.
next 5 years,
That
we
next
can
five
get
years, you
to,
can get to.
okay, we can get to that next 5 years, and I'll tell you I'm not paying you and I'm not owing you. If we don't have a written document that says this transaction actually took place, that was what bank is doing. Okay, bank is helping us keep records, and because they are keeping records, they charge you a service fee. The problem there is that those service fee are getting higher and higher, and they are getting more rigorous. You go to the bank, they treat you anyhow, and it's just very tedious and stuff like that. But what the blockchain space is doing is that they are trying to remove intermediaries. If I and who is on the call now, if me and Samuel can do our business pair to pair, okay, that's the idea, pair to pair, directly to him, without any intermediaries. And if you remove intermediaries, you remove intermediary fees. Okay, so that's basically the idea of cryptocurrency, to remove those intermediaries that can actually charge you fee, limit transaction, waste your time, and a whole lot of that. Okay, so that's basically the idea of the blockchain. And I'm going to drop a link in the description, in the group chat, to a video that would also guide us to know more about the blockchain. Okay, that will guide us to know more about the blockchain. Now, if at this point you have any question, just drop the question in the description below. We are still going to look at one or two more concepts before we call it a day, because of time. Tomorrow, just try and be on the call on time, and we are going to be as fast as we can to coincide two different concepts in the blockchain space. We are going to be looking at NFTs very well. Now, let's just look a little. At this point, if you have been following, just let us know on the comment section below. Let us know on the comment section below. Just let us know on the comment section if you have been following up to this period. Just let us know. The comment section. If you have any question, let us know on the comment section. Those persons who are still joining, please let them know they should just join the call. You can do well to join the call. Now,
That
at
please,
this
sorry,
junction, now
sorry,
at
I
this
can't.
junction, I
Excuse me.
believe we go ahead.
Hello, hello, Brother Shadrach.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please, I couldn't locate the comment box
Go
below,
ahead.
but I want to ask. So it means that you can use blockchain not just for cryptocurrency. Since you said you save informations in blocks, if this block fails, it moves into the next block and all that, which means you can actually use the blockchain to save maybe academic materials, video clips, and all that to save other information other than for cryptocurrency purpose.
I was
I'm true.
just about brief applications, of blockchain, as well as the benefit of the blockchain technology. Going to share my screen in a while. Also, we'll bring with us a subject from our master class. Let's just get it and I'll be dishing it out for us. Now, yeah, I see blockchain is just like somebody saying that when you're talking about the internet and you're talking about Facebook. Facebook is not the internet, but Facebook cannot work without the technology called the internet. Okay, so blockchain on its own, it is majorly a technology that records information in a decentralized way. Now, the concept, very, very important time, is that we need to now the concept of decentralization means that there is decentralization, there is centralization. Decentralization is where you get the concept of central banks. Now, the central bank there means that it is a central authority that regulates, manage, and dispense that kind of content. But in blockchain space now, it is decentralized in the sense that if, for example, I say I want to start mining Bitcoin, I am now among the persons that or let me don't use the word regulate. The persons that serve as a validator, a validator. Now, let me explain this. Let me explain this thing first. Let me come back to Telegram. Let me explain this thing for us very well. Okay, now the central bank is one entity that controls the movement, management of fiat, and the rest of them. Then we now have decentralization. The issue of this, because when you say one person built and invented Bitcoin, you now say, this person can scam security, what, and the rest of them. We have people we call miners. Now, remember, I said these miners, they undergo what we call proof of work. They work and they earn crypto. Apart from that, that's not just their work. They are also saddled with the responsibility of validation. Now, we have miners scattered all over the world. If, for example, I send one Bitcoin to, let me say, Chinechere, send one Bitcoin to Chinechere. Now, that transaction now would be recorded in the blockchain. There's something we call Explorer. Let me share my screen. Let me share my, there is something with Explorer. There are so many Explorer, but one that is very notable is blockchair.com. Okay, let me share my screen so you can see the spelling. It's blockchair. Blockchair.com. Okay. Now I'm actually going to blockchain.com. Now when I send one Bitcoin now the itself records that transaction that I did. Okay, what's the that I did? Now, okay, can explore different blockchains. You can now see that so far, Bitcoin. That's why now the question we need to be asking is: can the central bank, the CBN governor of Nigeria, tell us how much money, how much naira is in circulation? They can't tell us. But here we have the Bitcoin. We know the total blocks. We know the total transaction. In the history of Bitcoin, a total of 742 million transactions has been done. Okay, and the transaction happens per second now is 4.87 transaction per second. Now we can further look into this. If I click on this, take Bitcoin block. Now, this blockchain, you can see is the total that ever is. No, sorry. That's the price of Bitcoin now, $21,000. Now we have the blocks, we have the transaction output, we have addresses. So far, so good. We have 42 million addresses. It means that we have 42 million decentralized people that are holding Bitcoin. You know, exchanges, because all they hold Bitcoin in Binance blockchain, in Binance exchange, for example. Binance is an exchange. Okay, all the Bitcoin in Binance exchange is stored in one wallet. Maybe they have one or two wallets for Bitcoin, but everything is just stored in few wallets, irrespective of the millions of pesos they have. Now, if, for example, I have an address, let's just look at any transaction here. Let's just look at any transaction here, if we can actually get any transaction. Now, these are just transactions. Let's just click on one of them. This is what we call hash code. This thing, I just clicked on hash code. It's hash code. If you use the hash code, it takes you to the blockchain. In that hash, you can see the details of the transaction. You can see we have 100 confirmation. This 100 confirmation is the number of miners that validate that this transaction actually occurred. Okay, the number of miners that validated that this transaction actually occurred. And when the majority of miners validate it, it is now recorded. If majority, if not, if you don't have up to 51% that say this transaction actually take place, it will not be recorded in the blockchain. Okay, so you now have this is amount that was transacted. Wow, the amount that was transacted here is around 37,000 Bitcoin, which is worth around $828,000. Okay, you can see that the transaction fee for this in Nigeria's money. Wait, this is $828 million, not $1,000. This transaction, the person just paid $1.8 for sending this amount of money. Okay, just $1.8 for sending this amount of money. This money was sent 20 hours ago. It was sent on June 15, like time UTC. Now we can also see sender 3. We can see the recipients. Okay, all these things are recorded. That's why we say the blockchain now is a technology that records information in a decentralized way, in the sense that it cannot be manipulated. It's not just the central bank. It is those miners scattered around the world. They are the people that validate this transaction. That's why it's difficult to hack the blockchain. Because for you to hack a particular blockchain, it means that you need to hack 51% of all the whole miners. Because if, for example, I sent 1 Bitcoin to you, and let's say I want to cheat you now. Okay, no. Let's say, how will I put it now? I sent 1 Bitcoin to you, and I want to send that same 1 to another person. I will need to hack 51% of all the whole miners that will validate that transaction to say that that transaction did not occur. If that transaction did not occur, I can double spend. That's the issue of double spending now. I can now double spend that particular 1 Bitcoin. Because that was the issue some persons were having, If it's digital, that means you can send it to one person and still send it to another person. I don't know if I've actually clarify that. Now, if you are looking, or if you are considering the applications of Bitcoin, of blockchain now, because cryptocurrency is just one aspect of the blockchain technology. We have other aspects. One of it is, let me just use the one that will be more applicable to everybody: education. In fact, currently, academians are coming together to maximize the blockchain space, in the sense that if I carry out a research work, I can put that research work in the blockchain. Before you can read my research work, you will pay a royalty fee. Okay? You will pay a royalty fee, and it will just be for that your wallet that is connected. You cannot share it with a third party, except you give that person access to that your wallet address or that your recovery phrase. That person cannot have access to that my research. If a second person is coming to have access, the person must pay a royalty fee. Near Protocol is doing it for music. Okay, Near Protocol, a lot of musicians are building their whole ecosystem for music. Music Musicians, before now, used to miss out, in the people who make more money out of the music industry before now was marketers and the producers and marketers. But Near Protocol, using the blockchain technology, is redefining everything. A whole lot of musicians are moving into Near Protocol to build their own, let me call it, project, such that, let's say I release an album, for example. Every time you listen, just like they are doing with what do they call it, Spotify. For you to listen to my music, you need to pay a royalty fee, and that royalty fee now will not be my own token. Let's say, let's use Two-Face for example. If Two-Face uses Near Protocol to create a platform like that for his music, he might call the token Two-Face token. Okay, so he might call that token Two-Face token, and maybe he will now have a limited supply of 100 million Two-Face token. For you to be able to watch or listen to his music, you need to go to the exchange, buy Two-Face token, pay for subscription fee. Now, when Two-Face maybe releases an album that is hot, okay, then he releases a track that is hot, people will want to watch that or listen to that his music. Now, when they go to exchanges, when more people go to the exchanges to buy that Two-Face token, it creates demand. Now, when it creates demand, the token will move up in price because more people are coming to buy the token than those that are coming to sell. Okay, so when it creates that, you now sign up with a royalty fee. Every time you pay for a music, it stores in your decentralized wallet. That's why a whole lot of persons, I don't know if we shared that, but I will check and still share it. A platform is training people for Web3. Now, Web3 has to do with cryptocurrency. Web1 used to be, if you want to access the internet, they say put your name and phone number. Web2 used to be your email address. When you want to do anything, they'll say sign up with Facebook or sign up with your email. That was Web2. But Web3, none of your identity will come into play. It's just you connect with your Trust wallet. You can access anything. Nobody knows your identity. You just do everything. That's even now they are talking about Web5. Okay, I've not really looked into Web5, but Web3 now, Two-Face does not need to know, because if you are, let's say, Spotify now, Spotify can say, okay, this total number of people, that's where Google is making money from, Facebook is making money from, because they are using the concept of Web3 is that big companies are using our data and our information to make money while they are not paying us. That's why you look, it's still in the blockchain space. Platforms like UHive is creating a social media network where you can actually get paid for using social media. They are using your data. Okay, Facebook, maybe I ran an ad for this program. Okay, they are showing it to a specific kind of user according to my ad preference. And they are not paying those users, but I'm paying them. Okay, so I'm enriching them. So Web3 is saying, I want to own my own data. if I want to sell my data to Facebook, Facebook need to buy the data from me. Okay, so these are just, you see, now I've not even talked about cryptocurrency, I've not talked about Bitcoin, I've not talked about Ethereum, I've not talked about buy this coin or buy that coin. I'm just showing us an overview of what the opportunity is like. So if, for example, I was surfing the internet one day and I came across where the application of linguistic in blockchain. I was amazed. In fact, every bit blockchain is just like the internet, that each field has, or each industry have application in the blockchain. You might think that this thing is far, but I have a friend, Kenneth, Ugu Kenneth. He runs a real estate firm, and he was sharing with me that some real estate company in Lagos, they are tokenizing their houses. What does it mean? I can build a house, for example. I build a house worth 100 million. And that 100 million, I will tokenize the house and put it in the blockchain, such that people who want to benefit from maybe the dividend of that house can now buy fragments. Maybe they don't have 100 million, they can just buy $5 worth of 100 million. So if that house increases by 100%, their $5 is now $10. It's actually happening now. So the concept of blockchain is vast. Now, if you apply it to education, I talked about the academia. If you apply it to education, you see a scenario whereby in Nigeria we had a scenario whereby they were asking whether the president has a YX certificate or not. It cannot happen in the blockchain space. Why? Because, for example, let's say the university where I studied, UNN. Let's say every student that gets admitted, it's their detail is being inputted in a blockchain. Maybe the university system now creates their own blockchain. If that now my registration number, which is my matric number, will no longer be just combination of numbers. It will be like a wallet address that is in the blockchain. So they know the time I created that wallet. I created that wallet 2015 November so date. You cannot come after 5 years and say, Kai, I was a student of UNN. No. We'll just go to blockchain and you tell us the date and time. We'll go back and search for it. And you cannot manipulate it. You cannot come in 5 years and want to change something that has stayed there for over 5 years. You see? So that's why the blockchain, in fact, about 2 or 3 countries have actually used blockchain for voting. Because when you talk about blockchain, you don't talk about digital identity. Digital identity whereby if I put your blockchain, let's use wallet address now. If I put a wallet address, if I scan your wallet address, all your profile will come out. So if we are voting using wallet address, you see that you cannot have 2 identities. So all these things, because of blockchain, is very disruptive. That's why some federal government have actually been fighting it for years. Okay, so that's the reason we are saying don't sell, because if you sell your tokens, you are putting pressure on the next person to sell, and the value keep going down. But one thing we need to know, I think, for the benefit of those of us that are here, I will teach us something. After that, we'll ask our question. In fact, if you have questions, just drop it in the comment section. There's no comment section here. Go to the group, that's the Telegram group, and drop the question. I would attend to them as I round up. Okay. Now there's something called the financial circle. It happens it's applicable to every technology. Okay, Samuel is saying network is bad. Okay. Now it's applicable to every technology. It's applicable to almost every phase of life. This is some Bitcoin chart. Let me use 1 week and let me use 1 week, my friend. So the end of this okay. What I want to explain to us now is applicable to life. Just like when a child is born, it keeps growing at the adolescence, the teenager, the youthful age. You see that you can see the best of a human being, like both in strength, in character, and otherwise. Like, most especially in strength, you can see the best of a man in his youthful age. The same thing with the financial market. Or let me use, for example, technology. Now, the industrial, it was as though the industrial age will not end computer. As though the computer age will not end until we enter the information age, and now almost at destruction. Um, when it has, I'm just explaining this one is financial cycle. And when you are doing how many trading stock, bond, forex, which other one? Bond. Now, it's what to call financial cycle. Now, when something goes, you can see that that's why in close tell you don't buy the top, don't FOMO into the market, FOMO fear of missing out. Now, this is where some people, the price, this is around 3,700 dollars. Some people bought here, probably, if you are buying with $1,000, you buy at least 2 or 2.9. Okay, so as Bitcoin went as high as $19,000, somebody who had around three Bitcoin, for example, would be sitting at close to $60,000. Something you bought with just $1,000, you're having a return of over 60x. That's 60 times the initial investment that you have. Now, there is all tendency. The people that are buying along this line, let's say they're buying from here, from $11,000 up, with $1,000, they can't even buy one. You get put from here with $1,000, the person can buy one. The person can only buy one with $11,000. At this point, even with $20,000, the person cannot even buy up to two. Now, why the person that bought not done market? Remember, it's not here. $10 just had $14,000 here. It just have, let's say, 0.1. Not enough. The person that bought, maybe person bought, like, if the person is dumping from, of course, he's going to down. It's going to go down. So the idea there is that when something is so low, especially when it comes to forex, or especially when it comes to financial markets, when there is so much FOMO in the market, everybody is rushing. Be very careful. That's the point that the biggest dump ever happened. And you see it, we always see the increase. It will always far exceed the increase when it starts. Okay, so now scenario, see the same scenario here. It still came back to around this end as high as 13. You see, landed off to 4. Now, the reason is for some persons already withdrawing their money from the crypto space, because you'll be doing the greatest mistake of your life. Okay, now absorbs come down. So when Bitcoin now, because money is going what 20,000 around now, okay, Bitcoin is still going up. When Bitcoin hits 27, people will still be saying, this thing will still go back. It will still go back. This is when most people who don't need will start buying back 40,000. Those persons who don't really understand what I want to tell us now will start buying back. They'll start buying back at 40,000. And if you buy back at 40,000, they will be expecting it twice in 80,000, which is far. It's not as though it's not realistic, but it's very far. But imagine somebody who bought at 20,000. That person is entering. That person is already sitting at 2x his money. Okay, so the thing is there is that when you suspect every pump that is massive and long, okay, that's why you always see a drawback. You always see drop. If it pumps so hard to draw back, if persons might think that maybe I'm just trying to because of his crypto. Let's go and look at it. Okay, let's just take a look at forex. So USD or something. The forex is so you always see, can see a massive like by going up. It gets cover from here. It's in May. This is May 2008. Since May 2008. This is the just we had to see this time with it should be the same time with Bitcoin also went up and has even recovered from there. This is we euro against American dollar. So what you understand about financial market is that all the bottom and sell it up. I posted something recent. I say you buy the food. They call it FUD in crypto. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When people are selling off, that's the best time to buy. That's just the truth. It will work every time. And don't just buy any coin. Okay, that's what we'll try to achieve tomorrow. Don't just buy any coin. We'll try to achieve that tomorrow. Don't just buy any coin. Buy coin that have good fundamentals. Buy coin that have good fundamentals. Just like we talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has proof of work. It has proof of work, and there are so many other things underlying Bitcoin that makes it very, very fundamental. So you might just go and buy one coin that people just want to cash out. I hope people will say crypto is scam, crypto is scam. Go and look at the kind of scam that have existed even before cryptocurrency came to be. So you now discover that those who are saying cryptocurrency is scam, they are baseless because the person who is scam you normal using fiat, the person just changed currency. It's not as though the person have something valuable or something that has value to give you. The person is just changed currency. So at this point, we'll be rounding up here because of time. So if you have any question, unmute yourself and ask your question. If you have any question, just unmute yourself and ask your question. Just unmute yourself and ask your question if you have any question. If you have any question, just unmute yourself and ask your question. If you have question or comments, unmute yourself and ask. Are you following? If you have any question, unmute yourself and ask your question or type it on the group chat. If you have any question. Okay, we have a question. We have a question in the group. Um, my Shadrach said, I just want to know if there is any way or any incident thereby more than 51% of the miners can or have been compromised. Um, so far, so far, we have not seen any record of compromise based on the 51% attack. Because if more than 51% says this transaction did not occur and it actually occurred, it means that the blockchain system would record a wrong transaction, not as though it will be 100% compromised, but where it will serve as though it is compromised, that those persons can actually repeat what they did. Okay, because at every point in time, 51% must validate. Okay, and that's why they are calling more people to enter this space. Imagine that no matter how little your mining power is, no matter how little your mining power is, if more people, that the reason why Bitcoin was dumping at some point, was because there was little adoption. Elon Musk really helped a lot. We need to give him credit for that. He helped a lot in the sense that before Elon Musk, the Musk effect from last year, around the last quarter of the year, before Elon Musk started putting interest in cryptocurrency, miners were selling off. That was why you see the price of Bitcoin wasn't really going steadily as it's supposed to be. The cost of mining Bitcoin is very expensive, very expensive. So what miners do is that before you don't even see Bitcoin to buy. You can't even see Bitcoin to buy. The only people who can sell new Bitcoin to you is those that are mining. That's why it's supposed to be a lucrative venture. But because the cost is very expensive, there was a time it was banned in China. Miners need to migrate their mining farm. Mining farm can cost millions of dollars to set up. Migrate their mining farm to another country and so on like that. So when Elon Musk came into the play, MicroStrategy and some other billionaires. Okay, when Elon Musk came into play with some other billionaires, what happened was that people start investing in Bitcoin. Like we have MicroStrategy, which is the company that have the highest holding of Bitcoin, like the single company that have the highest holding of Bitcoin. It was as a result of from last year. So they started investing in Bitcoin mining company so that Bitcoin miners don't need to go to the exchange to the Bitcoin mined, because what they do is that they mine Bitcoin, they sell in the exchange, and they get money to keep running the system. But now with huge investments, many companies want to take part in the remaining Bitcoin that will still be mined, because around 18 point something million has been mined. So it's roughly remaining about 3 million Bitcoin that is left to be mined. Okay, so when we have more persons mining Bitcoin and mining every other cryptocurrency, it's really going to be very, very hard for that to actually happen. Then we have a second question here, sir. I didn't understand what you said about the financial cycle um, throughout by network. Now, the what we actually meant, why market will always correct itself. We call it correction. Okay, in the crypto space, it will either retrace or correct itself. That's what we actually call it in the crypto space. It will retreat. So whenever news, with the time Elon Musk will say, I'm accepting Dodge, I'm accepting Bitcoin, market will just up in 5%, and you will see it coming back. It it's just correction. Okay, this is the Bitcoin chart. We saw Bitcoin went as high. Okay, let's even look at from here. It went as high as $20,000 and came correcting down to around $3,000. Okay, so from that's around how many percent decrease? Um, that's around 85% correction. So from the height of $20,000, it came down and corrected by minus 85%. Okay, so here there was a minor correction because it has not really exceeded here. Okay, so we could see the point. This is 20k. That's where Bitcoin is heading to. Okay, so when it break this point, it went as high from 20k. It went as high as 64,000. Okay, it went as high as 64,000. From 64,000, it corrected to 28,000. So that's over 50% correction. So here we are seeing what we are looking at for 80%, at least, or let's say a maximum of 80% correction, and we are going to see a bull run. We saw Bitcoin hitting an all-time high of $68,000, and from $68,000, Bitcoin has actually corrected to um $20,000. That's from six. That's almost 70 to um 70 to 20. That should be around. The half should be 35. Then 20. 35 minus, that's 15. Okay, so we have actually seen at least let's say a 70% correction. Okay, we have actually seen a 70% correction so far. At least a 70% correction. Market can start going up from here. That's just the truth. That's why we advise you. We wrote an article on dollar cost average. That are some of the best um, method you can use to buy. One of the method you can use to actually buy. Let me make that very simple. Market can actually start correcting from here. Okay, market can actually start correcting from here. It would go. That's just when you look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin, that's why we started by explaining the fundamentals. So what is sustainable and what today. Am I sharing my screen? Wow, I've not been sharing my screen for this while. Oh God, I've not been sharing my screen. Now, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just let me know. Just unmute yourself and let me know. It's like I'm having network challenge. If you can hear me, just let me know.
We can hear, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
We can, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. I was not sharing my screen when I did. You can see going with you. This was where I was talking about. It was here at 20k, 3 to 3,000, around 3,400. That was almost a 40%, an 85% correction. That was an 85% correction. Okay. Percent correction. We have 75% correction. So it can still likely get here around if it gets to 14k, I can still here is out by. If you can let me know. This is actually a very good buy range. Okay, that is a good buy range. I will advise us to start buying gradually using the dollar cost average. Where you can see this is wide, but this is a very good buy range. At this point, you can actually start buying a very good range. Okay, so you use the dollar cost average system to buy. The dollar cost average system is just maybe you want to put $1,000 in Bitcoin. So instead of you to use $1,000 and buy immediately, you just divide it into $100 and buy it consecutively for 10 times. Maybe every week you buy, every week you buy, every week you buy, every week you buy. It will get you more tokens and save you from dumping. Save you from dumping. If we have one more question, let's do justice to that. Well, I pretty appreciate everybody for being on the call up to this moment. In as much as we started very late, I appreciate every one of us. Okay, so I've explained what that circle means, financial circle. Bitcoin, for from what we see, it will normally go up for around 5 to 7 months. The bull run is usually short and the retracement is usually long. Okay, the bull market is usually short and the bear market is usually long. Okay, so I've done that explanation. So make sure you position yourself because the bull market will still be short. That's just the truth, and it will go so high because when a lot of persons have made money, like I said, they will want to sell out. If you put $1,000, let's say you put people that put Shiba, okay, people that were holding Shiba from November last year, not even November last year, from February last year, that was holding around $1.8 worth of Shiba. That was around let's say 1,500 naira. As at May, that was in February, it was $1.8. As at May, it was over 30 million naira. Okay, so why won't you sell? Okay, why won't you sell? Now, I'm not saying that you should sell off all your crypto. There is what we call profits. What do they call it? Take profit. Okay, you take profit and hold some, because I was discussing with a friend of mine. I was so disappointed. Not necessarily disappointed. Part of it I was disappointed because he was, I think I sent a screenshot of during that Luna issue also. When Luna came down, he bought Luna worth of $1,000 and it gave him $30,000 and he did not sell. Okay, it gave him $30,000 and he did not sell. I was just so disappointed because he has been in this space for a while. Okay, so you're telling me he thought he was going to keep going up. Like it gave you $30,000, you thought it came down to 20, you are still thinking it came down to 10, you are still thinking. My dear, take your profit. At least if he has taken, let's say from 30, or let's even say he came down to 20, you took out 15, and maybe now what is left of it is now valueless because he's currently at a very huge loss. Okay, so there's what is called profit taking. If you understand the circle, the Bitcoin circle, there are people that invest for long term. If you're an investor or a holder, you are not looking at the chart, you're looking at 10 years. That's what MicroStrategy is doing. Because check the stats there is that the current adoption of cryptocurrency or blockchain technology is around 5%. Around 5% of the world population. That's why the market is still around $1 trillion to $2 trillion. But the forex market every day, nothing less than $10 trillion is being traded in the forex market. So you see that the forex capitalization for a daily trade is even far over like 10 times more than that of the entire crypto space. Okay, so but it is still emerging because just like I said, about 5% of the world population have actually adopted crypto. It really increased last year and this year because of Elon Musk and so on, and so many other people talking about it. And we are hearing US government employing blockchain people. We are hearing the top companies in the world employing blockchain experts and the rest of them. So the awareness is really massive, and you will not know what is going on until you are really into crypto space. I think okay, our community manager is here. He can tell you how difficult it is to get crypto jobs now. Imagine an industry that is still this small. competition to get jobs there is even massive. Maybe by tomorrow or next tomorrow, we will be looking at crypto jobs. How you can actually position yourself. Not everybody in the crypto space look at charts. Maybe your idea about crypto is I'll come and be looking at market. No, not everybody look at charts. Some people are making cool money whether the market is going up or whether the market is going down. Take for example community managers. Take for example graphics designers. Take for example website developer. An average Web3 developer in the crypto space is being paid $1,000 per month. And a whole lot of Nigerians, yes, a whole lot of Nigerians are there. There is, I've searched for several exchanges, no matter how well the name of the exchange sounds. If I go to their comment, maybe either on Play Store or maybe people who have worked with them, I will see a Nigerian. So a whole lot of Nigerians, they're actually making money in the crypto space. If you go to Lagos, NFT have their own NFT community is so massive. Okay, so all these things is what we need to know. So we'll not just think that crypto is just buy one coin, wait for it to rise, and you sell. Okay, so I don't know if we have any other question. We are going to rest for today. Um, I would not talk about AEX tonight because of time. But please know that when you signed up, those of you, if you are here, you have not signed up, you are not doing yourself a favor because everybody who signed up um, is going to receive an airdrop from AES Exchange. And secondly, is that if you have not registered, please anybody can drop the link. Anybody can drop the link on the group, the link for registration. Anybody can drop the link for registration. I will be sharing with us once when you registered. You heard that you can share a prize pool of $1,000. Okay, you can share a prize pool of $1,000 by simply depositing minimum of $50. Definitely, from what I've seen, everybody will actually win. Okay, everybody will actually win once you've deposited at least $50 on their exchange. You just click on the draw. It's actually 2 weeks from the day of your registration. Okay, if you don't do it, it's going to expire. Okay, so if you, I will also guide you in doing that by tomorrow. Okay, we apologize for not doing that today because of time. Okay, I apologize for that. I appreciate everyone for being on the call. This is almost 2 hours, not mistaken, 2 hours we have been here. So if I'll just let us, we can unmute ourselves and let's just give a shout out. We can just do a shout out probably to AES Exchange or to Sofe Group. Whichever one you can unmute yourself. Let's just give the next 2 minutes for shout outs. If you want to say anything, just unmute yourself. We have actually come to the end of the training for today. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have anybody who is giving a shout out? We are rounding up. If you have anything to say, you can give us a shout out. We are rounding up just now. Okay.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I
Good
I want to thank Sofe Group for this wonderful bootcamp. It's actually a mind opener and also, what I call it a revision for some of us who have actually known things about blockchain and cryptocurrency. I I really want to appreciate you for the effort you are putting up in building a strong community of like minds. in this crypto space. I, I really thank you. I want to thank AEX for partnering with you in this bootcamp. It shows that we are heading somewhere and we'll get there very soon. I thank each and every one of us who participated in this bootcamp. Like everything he dished out here, it's worth it. Like it's so meaningful. I wish you can actually take this bootcamp serious. In the next 5 to 7 years, you'll be thankful. You'll be thanking God that you know Sofe Group. So just avail yourself the opportunity. There are a lot of opportunities in the crypto space, just like he has enumerated. A lot of opportunities. You mustn't actually trade. You mustn't actually look at the chart for you to actually benefit or make it in the crypto space. There are a lot. Even the normal skill you do on daily basis can actually earn you a living in the crypto space. So just avail yourself this opportunity. Tomorrow, I urge all of us to come back again and drink from the well of his wisdom so that um, after this bearish period, all of us can actually smile within some period of time. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Thank you so much. Let's just get one or two more persons on the call for the next few seconds. We are just few seconds away from 10 o'clock. Let's have one or two persons before we call it a day.
Okay, good evening. I'm Kingsley. I must commend your efforts so far. You have really tried. You have done justice to this. At least I wouldn't say that I wasted my time. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I thank the Sofe group and the AES. You people have done so much. And I would love if you will drop a kind of, if there is any record for today, if you can do us a favor by dropping the link so that we can listen over and over again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, there, Kingsley. Thank you for that. Um, Mrs. Nkirika, you wanted to speak. You're raising up your hand to speak. Can you go ahead?
Okay, Mr. Shadrach, please, I want to so thank God for you. I want to so thank God for putting up this your group and all that. I don't know how all this came to be, but I know there's a group called Sofe Group. So I want to really thank God for making it possible for people like myself that not I really don't know much about when it comes to crypto and the rest of them. But thank God you really opened up so I really want to appreciate you for that, making people like me that doesn't know, a novice like me that doesn't know anything about crypto. So at least I'm able to understand some things. So, but I want to like also comment based on Mr. Kinsley that just spoke now. If you can leave maybe a link for us to still go back and take in some things, yeah, the things we've learned. So I really want to thank God for software groups. I want to thank God for you also, Mr. Shadrach, and I also want to thank God for AX. Okay, I want to thank God for this and everyone that even participated in this boot camp. I am really grateful to God for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you. We really appreciate each and every one of us. Um, Based on our question, we are going to drop a recording of the whole class in the group. We are either going to drop a recording, we're either going to drop the recording, or we drop a link to our YouTube channel where you can actually go and stream. We once more, on behalf of everybody who is here, first of all, to everybody who was present, and also to AS Exchange, as well as our team members. I think we have our team members who also joined, Patrick and Jude, and other persons who maybe one reason or the other have left the meeting. On behalf of everybody here at Sofe Group, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we are very grateful to have you. Most importantly, like we always say, we are striving towards building one of the most formidable blockchain community that are enlightened. Okay, you are very much enlightened. We are getting a whole lot of persons sharing opportunities. Even that of the Web3 we talked about, you are going to drop the link in both this group and in other platforms that we have, is because as a result of other members who are part of the community who are contributing. So I appreciate each and every one of us. And at this junction, we'll call it an end. Let's do one thing for us tomorrow. Try to share the link. You've participated. You are our mouthpiece first hand. So share the link, share the flyer, let people join, let people get registered. Make sure they will get registered. If you're on this call, you're not yet registered, you might not be getting the airdrop from AES Exchange. So do well to register, and maybe by tomorrow we'll be talking more. We might start off with AES Exchange by tomorrow. So we'll show us some opportunities with their exchange. Okay, thank you so much. We are going to have a concluding prayer now. In the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and we adore you. We thank you for an opportunity. We thank you for all that we have learned. We ask you to grant us wisdom and understanding, and also the grace to put all we have learned into practice in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good night, everybody. Good
Night
night.
and
See
God
you
bless
guys.
you.